Your colleagues are going to be there. You're going to want to meet up with them, but don't underestimate the opportunity to network and get to know people in the industry. If there's a particular brand that you want to work with, certainly go and shoot content there, talk about the brand, tag them, but also talk to the people in the booth. And you should try to know the names of the people you want to meet, whether it's the head of social, whether it's the CEO of the whole company. Ask them, hey, is this person going to be in the booth later? And then you can come back and try to introduce yourself to them, get to know them, and make those connections, because it's a great opportunity.
Hi, and welcome back to Med Creator 101. I'm Mimi Banks, the founder and CEO of MB Social, and I'm joined as always with my fabulous co-host, board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Dustin Portela.
As always, happy to be here.
Happy to see you. Highlight of my week. My favorite part of the pod is the part where we get to know Dustin. So Dustin, let's talk about routines. Are you a man of habit?
I do try to have pretty consistent daily habits, yeah.
Do you get up the second your alarm goes off or hit snooze?
This is a challenge for me, and it kind of varies during what time of the year. In the wintertime, I find it so much harder to get out of bed when that alarm goes off. Over the summer, when there's more sunlight, it seems to be much easier for me. So try to stick with habits, but the winter is tough when it comes to hopping right out of bed.
So we're in the wintertime now. How many times do you hit snooze?
I actually set one alarm, but I have this thing on my bed called the 8 Sleep pod cover. And it controls the temperature of my mattress. So it keeps me cool all night, no matter how many blankets I put on. But it's programmed to heat the bed up before I need to wake up. So, about 15 minutes before I need to get out of bed, it starts warming up to about 100 degrees. And so I don't get jolted out of bed by an alarm. I just wake up because I start getting warm. So it mimics the natural rise in your body temperature that you get in the morning. And so I just wake up naturally. And then I usually just stay in my bed, cozy and comfy, until the actual alarm goes off. And then I do get out of bed.
Wait, I'm so glad I asked that. I've never heard of that before. That is so cool.
8 Sleep did send it to me for free, and I created some content on it. And if it broke, I would buy it again tomorrow in a heartbeat.
I think I need to buy it. Looking it up absolutely right now. That's cool. Question, coffee. We've talked about coffee before, but are you a person that needs coffee to start your day?
I love that morning cup of coffee. So I do wake up early enough that usually my kids aren't awake, and I love to go sit, make my coffee, and just get that first cup down before the house starts getting chaotic.
And what time does clinic start?
When I first opened, I would start clinic at 8 in the morning. And now as the clinic has grown, I've got more providers. I start my schedule at 9 o'clock.
And how many patients do you typically see a day?
Typical day, I'll see about 40 people.
Wow. That's 200 people a week. That's 800 people a month. I'm just going to keep doing the math.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's very impressive. All right. So speaking of seeing people, another place where we see a lot of people these days are conferences. Conferences in the medical field, medical profession, it's huge. They're a great place to learn, to network, to even create content and meet brands. In our world, there's the Super Bowl of conferences, the annual American Academy of Dermatology annual conference, AAD. I went last year in San Diego, and it was jam-packed of brands, activations, social media moments, celebrities, products, lectures, parties, and so much more. I was so blown away by the sheer number of brand activations and the opportunities for dermatologists and medfluencers to connect with each other, learn about brands, new products, and really capture content. Every single booth and party was made for social. What are your tips for attendees, whether you're a medical professional or not, to attend or to prepare for a medical conference, and maybe even specifically AAD, which is around the corner?
Yeah, AAD, of course, is most applicable to me, but whether you're, attending a conference for pediatrics, urology, ear, nose, and throat, physical therapy, whatever it is, a lot of these tips are going to apply. And the first thing that I would say is just remember you're going to a conference, and the main objective is to learn, stay up to date on the latest advances in your field. So it's always, I would say most important to plan what lectures you want to go to, because some of them do fill up pretty quick. And so you want to know what you're actually going there to learn. Your first objective in going to a conference should be learning and staying on the cutting edge of your profession. And then if you are a content creator, you can start to plan out opportunities to create content or network with brands or other colleagues. And so once you kind of know the game plan as far as your lectures that you're going to attend, or maybe you're even presenting, that's going to be goal number one. Then with the American Academy of Dermatology, which I'll reference most here because it's what I'm familiar with, the first thing that I usually will do in preparation for the conference outside of the educational activities is kind of get my feelers out there for who else is going. So there's other dermatology content creators, and not everybody goes every year, but I like to know who's going. And then if we can make plans to create content together, because if you can collaborate on content, it's going to be seen by both audiences, and it provides a great opportunity for your following to grow because you're going to be exposed to somebody else's followers. And so I like to know who's there and, kind of make plans just through messaging. If we can get together, create some content or see what activations they're going to that we might be able to collaborate at. And some of that ends up being just on the fly. You run into somebody in the exhibit hall. They've got an idea for a TikTok. You've got an idea for a TikTok or an Instagram reel. You go ahead and create it on the fly. So those are kind of the first two things that you would do. Then it comes to brand activations. Now, in some circumstances, you're going to be asked by brands before you even get to the conference to come and shoot content with them at their booth. It may be a paid partnership. It may be just a long-term working relationship you've had with the brand. So you'll want to obviously pencil that in if you're being contracted to go do something. Then, if you've been to the conferences before, you kind of know who does the really big booths and who has the best photo opportunities, and brands are growing into this more and more. So if there's particular brands and they're launching new products or they have a great booth, you can also make plans to go and create content there and show your followers what are the new advances, what are the new products coming out that could be applicable in their lives. And then there's all the after parties, so to speak, where there's cocktail hours, there's dinners. Some of those are pharmaceutical dinners where there's going to be a lecture. Some of those are just a social thing, and they usually have an opportunity to create content there. Everybody is leading with social when it comes to these brands. And so you can go there and plan to create content. And there's usually more things than you will have time to go to. So you do have to have a game plan as to what you want to prioritize your time for.
And each of these parties, it's wild, has a photo op. Every single one is built around, as you said, social and the photo ops. The one thing that I learned that I'm going to do this year at AAD, bring comfortable shoes. If you've never been before, your feet hurt. Legitimately, you're on them all day long. The other thing, Dustin, that you had is you had all of your tech with you. So an extra battery for your phone, I think that is super important because it dies even quicker because of all the content you are creating and just if you're on it. So those are my two tips.
Yeah, I love an external battery that I can just keep in my bag because I don't want to be tied to the wall with a dead battery and I have to sit there for 30 minutes and charge my phone. So that's a really great tip. I keep my computer at the hotel room so I can get back and edit content or upload it and send it to an editor. But it's good to have kind of those extra things if you want to bring a little light that attaches to your phone or whatever it is. So some of these after parties, they're in dark restaurants and things. So you can kind of control what you can control with a wireless microphone and a little light that clips to your phone. Those can be helpful things to bring along as well.
The battery is huge. I'm always the one in the corner finding all of the outlets or asking people like you for their extra battery. So we talked about content for a second about the opportunity. I wanted to just discuss all the possibilities and just give some ideas or ways in which maybe there aren't a lot of brand activations to the other conferences people are attending, but what are some dynamic ways to bring conferences alive, or what are ways that creators can, as you said, document it for their followers?
Yeah, there's a couple different approaches you could take, and I've seen people do it different ways. I'll talk about the way that I approach it. Whenever I'm traveling, working with a brand or going to a conference, I do try to be careful about showing all the flashiness of it because it could be perceived in the wrong way if it looks like all you're doing is going to parties and you're basically showing yourself off like a travel influencer about, getting on a boat or taking a plane trip or staying in nice hotels. That's not necessarily going to elevate your status as a healthcare provider. But you could approach these and say, it might be an amazing looking booth and it might have glam and glitter, but you can go in there and you can talk about the new product or the new medical advances that are coming out that could be helpful for your patients. And so they're going to know you're at a conference. They can definitely see that you're having a good time, but they understand why you're there, that you're creating content to bring knowledge back to the platform, back to the followers that are going to help them in their daily lives.
I think that's an amazing point to make. It's very true. It's that Instagram versus reality, and remember why you're there and also what the perception that you create. Perception is reality. Also, a part of it is what you do is kind of assess who else is going. So as you're getting ready, sometimes you're saying, I'm heading to X place or X conference, anybody else? So there is an element of that travel vlog of just kind of checking in and introducing to your followers, letting them know where that you're traveling, that you're going to be there. And also at the same time, it lets your other followers who may be attending also giving them the heads up that you're going to be there and maybe they'll want to meet up with you.
Yeah, totally. If you're comfortable meeting your followers in the wild, you certainly can do that.
Or even colleagues. I always wonder about that, about telling people actually that you're traveling, because it could be kind of dangerous now that I think about it, but more colleagues.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who will save everything to the camera roll and they post it after they're back.
I found that AAD was like an overdose of posting at every single event of every single brand, that it was just all so done live. But that's a whole other topic of how do you post in this day and age and letting people know where you are. But conferences. The other thing about brand booths. So brand booths, exhibitions, connecting with other people while you're there, creating content on the fly is also a great way to take advantage of the opportunity and the people around you.
Yeah. Your colleagues are going to be there. You're going to want to meet up with them, but don't underestimate the opportunity to network and get to know people in the industry. If there's a particular brand that you want to work with, certainly go and shoot content there, talk about the brand, tag them, but also talk to the people in the booth. And you should try to know the names of the people you want to meet, whether it's the head of social, whether it's the CEO of the whole company. Ask them, hey, is this person going to be in the booth later? And then you can come back and try to introduce yourself to them, get to know them, and make those connections, because it's a great opportunity where some of the top people from L'Oreal are going to be wandering around the L'Oreal booth, for SkinCeuticals and CeraVe, La Roche-Posay, Vichy. And you can get some FaceTime with them, get your name in front of them, and just give them the opportunity so that if your name crosses them again, they'll hopefully remember that they met you before. And definitely get in touch with the people that are there in charge of social, whether it's their PR agencies who are often at their shows as well as the people directly with the brand.
Couldn't agree more. I think networking is a huge, huge part of being at these conferences, and putting a face with the name, or just introducing yourself, going up to the brand, sharing how much you like their product, sharing who you are. You might even want to prepare a quick introduction about who you are, what your specialty is, and why you like their brand, just to keep it short and sweet. And then make sure that you capture their information, as Dustin said, so important for the future and also for that relationship building.
A mistake that I have made that I'm much better about now is remember to take your business cards with you. You're going to be meeting people and they're going to ask for your business card. And if you don't have one, you look a little silly. And so I either will have business cards with me or an app on my phone where all they have to do is scan a QR code on my phone, and it will populate their phone with all of my contact information, my photo, my links on social, and all of that. So there's a lot of good solutions out there to make it really easy for sharing your information. And then when you share your information, you have to assume that potentially dozens, if not hundreds of other people also gave their business card to that person. So the impetus is on you to follow up and send a little note, whether it's by email or a LinkedIn message, and saying, hey, it was great to connect with you at the conference, and give them something to remember you by, like, oh, I told you the story about a great success I had with your product and a patient, and I would love to continue to work with you as a company.
That's actually a really good tip. Some people have said it when you come home at night, if you have their business card, write something on the back of it so you remember. But I definitely come back from a conference, a meeting, an event, and swiftly follow up with a pile of business cards or whatever I have, reintroducing myself, thanking them for their time so that they do remember you. Because it's true, in these instances, they meet hundreds of people and you want to build that relationship and stand out.
Yep. And that can be an executive from the companies, or it could just be a colleague. I know that in the dermatology world, I have gotten to know Dr. Sandra Lee, Dr. Pimple Popper. And if you're ever around her and you watch her walk through the exhibition hall, I mean, she can't walk 10 steps without somebody trying to take a selfie with her. And if they want to network with her, they have to make an impression, or they have to take the opportunity to follow up. So if there's a particular colleague that's got a big social media following and you want to connect with them, take that opportunity there as well.
Yeah, people are really there. You're with colleagues who are in the similar field as you. So while they might be Insta famous or have their own TV show, people are generally pretty nice and open to chat. The best advice I could give is take a risk, say hi to people, let them know why you're interested in speaking to them. Let them, maybe you're in the same state, maybe you have the same specialty, maybe you went to the same school or did a similar residency.
Great advice.
I also think that there's a way after your sessions to talk about the session. Maybe it's debriefing, maybe you're sharing your experiences, that you can give people feedback on something that you learned. That's just on more of the academic level also, which is important and valued.
Yeah, if you learn something particularly interesting at a lecture, when you get back to the hotel before dinner or something, go live for a few minutes and talk about it. Save that on your profile, or just record a short video that you could edit and post later.
Couldn't agree more. So today was really jam-packed with tips and tricks about making the most out of conferences. Dustin and I will both be at AAD coming up, so hopefully we'll get to meet you there. Please stop by and say hi. We'll be wandering around, making our way through all the booths, capturing content, meeting people, and interacting with brands.
As well as attending lectures and learning.
That's right. That is correct. And maybe attending some parties.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Med Creator 101, where we talked about making the most out of your conferences. Regardless of what medical profession you find yourself in, there's annual conferences you can attend to stay on the cutting edge of the research and advancements in your field. But also it presents a great opportunity to create content. As you go, prepare for your academic endeavors, and then prepare to meet colleagues and executives from the brands that you want to work with. Make sure to check your gear before you go, take an extra battery and a charging cable, and have a great time. Be cautious as you share content, not to look too flashy or anything that would detract from your presence as a medical professional, but use it as an opportunity to elevate yourself as a healthcare professional in your field and take knowledge to your followers. If you guys have any questions, send us a message on Instagram. We'll be happy to reply and answer those for you. And again, if you will be at the AAD conference and you're a dermatologist, stop by and say hi. If you see us walking around, we look forward to meeting you.